If there is any video that can be my most popular video, I would want it to be this one. This reveal has just made me so happy. I've watched about 100 reactions and I've seen this trailer about 200 times. I'm just that excited for these characters. And trust me, I will definitely be making a video about them when they come out. I sadly won't be reacting to their presentation, which is on March 4th, but I will definitely be making a video on them. This is all I have. That's the video I was talking about. Holy shit, that montage took me a long time to edit. But anyway, welcome to this video, guys. I've been wanting to make this video ever since I started making videos. Wait, what? I've wanted to make this video ever since I started doing YouTube, and with me recently hitting 50 subscribers and 1,000 views, I know that's not really like a huge number, but for me it is considering I started just a few months ago. But anyway, with me hitting those marks, I feel like it's the perfect time to make this video, especially because I wanted to make it for such a long time now. And this video most likely will not have many cuts because I just want to gush about my favorite game of all time. But before I begin, I want to address a few things, and this will be targeted specifically towards the people who do not want to play these games because they either don't like JRPGs or because they don't like anime. And I can say this, Xenoblade 2 is an anime. I can't even deny that because it's literally in the anime art style and it has plenty of anime stereotypes. But please hear me out. I don't even care for anime that much and I don't even watch it. However, I love this game to death. People commonly say bad things about JRPGs either because there's too many anime sword fighters in Smash, which I can definitely agree with, or they just don't like RPGs because they mostly originate from Japan, at least all of the JRPGs do. And let me say why your logic is flawed. First of all, Mario, Zelda, Kirby, Star Fox, Metroid, and all of those other franchises that you probably love, at least if you're a Nintendo fan, all of them originate from Japan. Nintendo themselves are a Japanese company, and anime as a whole mostly comes from Japan. How are you going to discriminate against a franchise like Xenoblade or Fire Emblem that has an anime art style, when you most likely play and enjoy plenty of Nintendo's other franchises? You might also be thinking, oh, I don't like Xenoblade 2 because of the big titty girls like Pyra, Mithra, and Bridget, and I'm gonna judge that game because it has big titty girls, and I don't like games with big titty girls. Okay, I'm really saying this right now. I cannot believe that I'm actually saying this, but I'm probably just gonna go off on this video, but you can't be really saying that because you're judging the game by its cover, and those were just the way that the characters were designed. It's not my fault that Japanese people are really horny, it's just the way they are. Okay, wait, no. Oh my god. I can't believe I just said that. And I think that plenty of other characters are designed perfectly in the game, such as Morag and Jin and Malos. And if you couldn't already tell, this video has no script. I'm just talking from my heart and my point of view. Anyway, what I'm trying to say here is that you can't judge a game based off of the way the characters were designed or off of the art style. That doesn't mean that the game is bad, and that, in fact, that's far from the truth. I used to judge Fire Emblem and Xenoblade based off their art style because I was not into anime at all. But I just wanted something new to play, so that's why I picked up Xenoblade Definitive Edition, and that became also my favorite game of all time. You might also be saying that Xenoblade is too long of a game for me, I don't have that much time to play it. And while I thought that too, considering the cutscenes altogether for Xenoblade 2 are almost 14 hours long, I still found time to play it. Especially because if you have time to play plenty of countless hours of Smash, Mario Kart, Splatoon, and a bunch of other games like that online, then you definitely have enough time to enjoy one of the greatest games on Switch. But I'm also not going to judge your schedule, so you guys can do whatever you want with your time. I'm just making suggestions. Speaking of suggestions, if you want a shorter Xenoblade game to play, then try Xenoblade 2's DLC, Torn of the Golden Country. It's a really good prequel, and it's definitely shorter than the main game. So I think if you want to try a Xenoblade game, you should try that one first if you're not looking for a super long experience. Anyway, on to my final point. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was developed by Monolith Soft. And Monolith Soft, in my opinion, is currently the best developer that Nintendo has. Tell me this. How can you discriminate against a game that is made by a company that helped with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Animal Crossing New Horizons, and Animal Crossing New Leaf, Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2, and also Super Smash Bros. Brawl? And to think that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was developed at the time when Monolith Soft was greatly helping with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. In fact, from what I'm aware of, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was worked on with only 40 staff members, which is still incredible to think about. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is considered by many to be one of the greatest games of all time, probably in the top 10 or top 5. And to think that Monolith Soft greatly helped on that game, and also worked on Xenoblade 2 at the same time, is just incredible to think about. So tell me this, how can you say that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a bad game when it was made by Monolith Soft, a company that helped develop one of the greatest games of all time? And in fact, I think that Xenoblade 2 is way, like, 1 trillion times better than Breath of the Wild, just because of its story alone. But once again, we're all entitled to our own opinions. What I'm trying to say here is that, just please, don't make any bad reasons or dumb reasons to not go play Xenoblade 2. It is a masterpiece of a game, and I enjoyed it so much, and it definitely changed my opinion on the world and helped me become a better person. So, please play it as well. It'll do not just me, but the entire Xenoblade community a big favor. This franchise needs to become more popular, and it definitely needs way more credit. As I always say, please go play Xenoblade Chronicles 1 or 2. Either or works. Just please play it. Anyway, major spoilers ahead. I'm just warning you right now, I'm about to dive into the whole story of Xenoblade 2, and I'm going to talk about why it's so good. So, major spoilers, well, full story spoilers for Xenoblade 2, and major spoilers for Xenoblade 1. So anyway, turn off this video right now if you don't want to be spoiled, and if you're thinking about buying the game because of what I just said, or if you thought about buying the game in general. Anyway, Thank you so much for watching, and let me explain to you why one of the best games of all time is one of the best games of all time. Okay, that didn't really make that much sense, but anyway, let me talk to you about Xenoblade 2. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was released on December 1st, 2017 for the Nintendo Switch. I bought my copy of it on July 20th, 2020, and I finished the game on July 29th, 2020. What really got me interested in the game is the way that the people lived there. It's kind of like the society that got me interested in the game. And it's pretty much all because of drivers and blades. Drivers are normal people, just like normal humans, that have to bond with a thing called a core crystal. And a core crystal grants the driver, or the human, a weapon and a blade. A blade is more like a mixture between, well, it's like a robot with human brain or human cells. It's very difficult to explain, but it's pretty much a robot with human cells. But they act like humans. But there's blades like Jin who also hate humans. Anyway, it's really cool to see, at least for me, it's really cool to see how these two life forms bond together. And blades are used to grant drivers powers and help them overall in battles, and help them blades are usually used for war, but it's still very interesting to see how they work together. Also, many blades, at least how they used to be, many blades and drivers used to get married, and that definitely comes up in the story a lot, because there is definitely many love stories going around in the story. But anyway, where to next? I don't even know where to start, but I guess I'll start by introducing the characters. The protagonist of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is named Rex. He is a very kind, charming, and caring person, and his blade is Pyra slash Mithra. Well, Pyra is very like Sakurai said, Daddy Sakurai of course. He said Pyra is the sweet one and Mithra is headstrong. Pyra is very kind, and she's willing to usually talk to you about anything, and she's a nice person overall. Mithra is more so very intense and very, like Sakurai said, headstrong. Anyway, next up, Nia. Nia is very, she acts childish, she acts like she's a child, but in reality she's around hundreds of years old. But anyway, because she's also a blade, but for the first two-thirds of the game they make you think she's a human slash driver. But in reality she is a blade, or she's a special type of blade called a flesh eater, which I'll definitely get into later. Anyway, Nia's blade is Dromark. He's a cat or animal who is very loyal to Nia, and he always addresses her as my lady, and he always cares for her a lot. And next up is Tora. Oh boy. This little Nopon perverted bastard is absolutely hilarious, and since he lacks the certain opportunities to become a driver, he creates his own blade through mechanical parts, and an ether furnace, which is really important. Anyway, his blade is an artificial blade called Poppy. Poppy is very innocent and kind, and willing to do whatever she can to fully satisfy Tora, as she calls him, her master pawn, which is very, very suggestive. You know what? Forget it. I'm gonna show the Poppy awakening scene right now, and you'll see how perverted Tora is. Anyway, yeah.
Now, wakey, wakey! Tora's very own blade! Oh, Poppy! Poppy?
How may I be of service, Master?
Oh, wait a minute! Oh, forget let you see that. Tora must change the settings.
The settings?
This time should be okay. Second time go best. Power on!
Greetings, Master Pawn.
I did it! Tora's masterpiece. World's first artificial blade. Poppy!
Whoa!
Incredible.
That is really quite something.
Tora did good, huh? You impressed? Tora is a very big success?
Absolutely. You're amazing, Tora. Though I was pretty surprised before, when she was all, you know.
Forget about it. That's not Tora's fault. That was, Grumpy-Pon. Grumpy-Pon Susu made settings. Yes, definitely Grumpy-Pon's fault.
Are you sure, Tora?
Yes, Grumpy-Pon. Yes.
Well, let's not dwell on that.
Next up is Morag. Morag is a very strong, loyal, and very knowledgeable character, and she is definitely a powerful ally. And her blade is Brigid, the Jewel of Moradane, and I'll get to the names of the Titans in a few minutes, but anyway, Brigid is also very wise, loyal, and respectful towards her teammates, except Mithra. She can be very, very intense with Mithra. Next up, for the final two party members, is my personal favorite party member, not to play as, but as a character overall, Zeke von Genbu, or his real name, Ozyclaris Brunev Tantel. And that's definitely a mouthful. So, as everyone else calls him, we're just gonna say Zeke. Zeke is a very comedic and pretty funny character. He's usually doing his own thing, but he can also be very serious at times, and he's also involved in the politics of his own world, even though his dad disowned him. Anyway, his blade Pandoria is very... She's very kind to him, but she also likes to roast him a lot. But she also saved his... Well, with the help of Amalthus, she saved his life. Also, she has a huge crush on him, but besides that, that's it for all the party members. Or all the main party members. So, I'm gonna quickly talk about the other characters. Van Damme is temporarily your party member, but he is a really epic guy. He's very knowledgeable about drivers and blades, and he acts as a mentor to Rex. And he's such a good person. Like, he has a great voice actor, and he is definitely the person you want to have a drink with.
I'm going to get some water. Van Damme?
Cheers, love. Give me a beer.
Beer? Coming right up.
His blade Rock doesn't really talk that much, so I guess I'd have to say he's more of a shy one, but we don't really know much about him, so that's really all I have to say. Now moving on to Jin. He is a very good character in my opinion. He's actually my favorite character in the whole game. He's very fun to play as when you get to play as him, and he's a very serious character, but he also really wants to do what he wants to do. His best boy, Malos, is... Malos, oh my goodness, Malos is such a great character. His voice actor is probably the best in the whole game, and he is... I don't even know where to begin with Malos. The fact that he brought out his own Monado, which is still so epic to think about, that you can basically fight Shulk, except it's not Shulk, just the evil version of him. I mean, not really, but still. Malos is such a great character. I really don't know how to describe him. He is very edgy, loud, not obnoxious though, and he's a great antagonist. Anyway, Akos. He is a very, I'd say, smart. He is a smart character, but he had a little, his character arc wasn't really that strong in the story, but he was still a good character. I enjoyed when he spoke, it was pretty good. His sister Patroka, I didn't really feel the same for, but she was also not a bad character. She just didn't really have much to do with the entire story. But my boy Mikhail, oh, Mikhail is such a freaking boss, man. Mikhail is such a good character. He's probably my top 3. My top 3 probably goes Jin, Zeke, and then Mikhail. Mikhail, when he confessed to Patroka, that was probably the best, okay, definitely not the best scene, but that was one of the best scenes in the whole game.
Patroka! I love you.
You are so gross, Mick. Make sure you come back alive so I can punch you for saying that.
That's a deal.
5 minutes later.
Forgive us, Jin. We're going on ahead.
Anyway, now moving on to the characters from the DLC. Laura is a very, like, I wouldn't say, she's not childish. I mean, she's definitely the youngest out of the party, but she's very, I'd say smart, and I really don't know how to describe her. She's a good character for sure. Her blade Jin we already talked about, except in Torna he's a lot more wise. Hayes / Fan Lenorn is a very, I'd say, another innocent character, but she is also very smart as well, and her power definitely comes in useful, especially later in the original story. Next up, Adam. Oh, Adam, one of the best characters in the DLC. He is a very funny person, but he takes things pretty seriously, and he's also a really good leader. And Mithra we already talked about. Minoth. Ooh. Minoth is like another serious character, but he also jokes around every once in a while, and he's pretty good too. He's another good character. I swear there aren't any really bad characters in this game because the writing is fantastic. But anyway, Hugo. We didn't really know much about Hugo. He was more just like the older version of Emperor Nile, but he was still a pretty good character. We talked about Bridget already, and Aegeon. Once again, we didn't know too much about Aegeon. He just seemed like a respectful ally. Anyway, that's it with the DLC. So one more character to mention, Amalthus. He is, I say that his motivation as the main antagonist of the story is decent, I'd say. He had to go through a lot in his life, and he definitely struggled plenty of times. Losing your mother at a very young age is not something you want to deal with at all. And he definitely had his plan overall to become the Pope / Praetor of Indal and take over Alrest pretty much. Did work out really well, but once again, it's like in the end of Chapter 9, he jumped in, came in as the main antagonist out of nowhere with a full-on mech, which is still pretty epic, but that's really all I can say about him. He's very wise, and at least in the beginning, but he's also very angry most of the time. He just doesn't show it in the beginning. And his theme, oh my god, his battle theme is absolutely godlike. It is my favorite in the whole game. But Amalthus, good character, good main antagonist, and that was a good plot twist for him to be the main antagonist. Anyway, let's move on to the next category. The world of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is called Alrest, and it is one beautiful location. It contains so many cool looking titans such as Uriah, Gormott, Morardane, Tantel, Indal. All of the landmarks in that game are absolutely stunning to look at. I'd say besides the land of Mortha and the World Tree and the first low orbit station. While they're all really good to look at, my favorite locations definitely have to be a tie between Uriah and Morardain, and Tantel. I'd say Uriah or Tantel are the biggest kingdoms / areas you can visit, but Morardain was really cool too. Gorma was also great. And the world building in that game is just absolutely beautiful. I can tell where they got it from. I mean, obviously, since Monolith Soft worked on Breath of the Wild, they definitely have similar ways of building worlds. And they're all just really great. Even the small worlds like the Cliffs of Mortha and, I don't know, the first low oh my god, I can't talk. The first low orbit station. They're all still really good, even though they're not as big of areas as others. Now on to the character designs. I think that all of the designs in this game are absolutely incredible. When it comes to designs like Rex, to Nia in her blade form, to Brigid, to Poppy Cutie Pie, to Rock, to Mithra, to Dromark, to many others. They're all absolutely outstanding. Out of all the main cast, my favorite designs are probably a tie between Nia in her blade form and Morag. Out of all of the rare blades, I find many of their designs to be enjoyable as well. My personal favorites are Agate, Boreas, Dagas, Korra, Praxis, Finch, Florin, and Sheba. Oh, yeah, Sheba. There's a lot of stuff going on there. You know what? I appreciate how this game acknowledges that many of the characters are exposing themselves a lot. So you know what? For friggin' screw it. I'm literally going to show the cutscene where that happens right now. And this is one hell of a cutscene right here.
What are you doing in my bed?
Wait!
Ah! Get out! Interloper! Monster!
Wait a minute, would you? Ow! You're the one in my room. The guy's room, see?
I can't believe it. I did it again. I am such an idiot.
Is this what they call sleepwalking?
You were staring.
Huh?
Pervert.
Whoa, what?
She's certainly exposing an awful lot of skin.
Pot, meat kettle.
Would you care to explain what that is supposed to mean, my good sir?
Have you looked in a mirror recently?
Probably the most controversial part about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is its combat. I personally find it to be very enjoyable, and I love it a lot more than Xenoblade 1's combat. But I know not many people felt that way. So, let me just quickly explain how the combat works. It basically works on a set of auto attacks. You have to stand still in order to auto attack. So your character attacks for you, and as your character auto attacks, your gauge for what the game calls arts, which are basically different moves, fills up. Once that gauge is full, you can use your art /skill/move, like actual move that you can activate. And as you use arts, you charge up your specials, and specials are certain quick time events that blades perform. I know it already sounds complicated, but this is just the basic steps. Anyway, as you perform specials, you set up an elemental route. An elemental route is basically how each blade sets up an elemental combo. Each blade has a different element. All the elements in the game are fire, ice, water, earth, stone. Wait, no. Earth and stone are the same thing. Fire, ice, water, ice. Oh my, I cannot talk. Fire, ice, water, oh my, yo. Fire, water, ice, wind, stone, electricity, dark, and light. Those are all the elements in that game. Anyway, so to set up an elemental combo, you basically have to perform a level 1 special of well, this is an example. A level 1 special of fire, a level 2 special of water, and a level 3 special of fire. Or another one, a level 3 special, no, a level 1, oh my, I literally cannot talk in this video. A level 1 special of stone, a level 2 special of fire, and a level 3 special of wind. It really doesn't matter what level you do, it just has to be more than 1, 2, or 3 in each phase. And anyway, so after you do the elemental combo, you get that specific elemental orb that finished the combo. Let's say that wind was the last element. That becomes an elemental orb that surrounds the enemy. And once you have the party gauge in the top left filled up, you can initiate a chain attack. And chain attacks are periods of time, or a period of time where you can break the elemental orbs by initiating blade combos. Well, or just specials, not blade combos. Yo, this battle system is really complicated, but it is super duper fun. Anyway, my highest scoring chain attack did around 5 million damage, so that's a lot of damage, indeed it is. Anyway, I'm not really going to go into further detail on the combat system because I can tell you guys are already getting confused. So, the game slowly teaches you how to do it, and while it may not make sense here at all, it is such a good combat system. I love it a lot. It is really fun to do, especially when you do it successfully, and it feels really satisfying when you perform those critical hits. Anyway, let's move on to the next category.
Think you can take me? Don't forget me!
You're done!
Don't forget me! Think you can take me? Don't forget me! Think you can take me? Don't forget me! Don't you can take me? Don't forget me! You can take me? Don't forget! Think you can take me? Don't forget me! Don't you can take me?
As I said before, I love the world building in Xenoblade 2. And that is partly due to the political structure in this game. The politics of Allrest really do exist, and you can see that especially in the beginning of Chapter 6. Here's an example.
Now, it seems Mor Ardain has been accused of a unilateral breach of treaty in this matter. Emperor Nile, I open the floor to you. Is there anything you wish to say?
While we are still conducting investigations into the cause, it cannot be denied that weaponry belonging to our forces was discharged against Uriah. Regardless of any possible reason and circumstance, we are prepared to offer recompense for this grave offence.
So you want to settle this with money?
We will provide any compensation deemed necessary.
Perhaps I'm misunderstanding. To my ears, it sounds almost as if you mean to imply that the blame for these offences does not lie with your Majesty at all.
We are investigating. I ask that we not draw any hasty conclusions.
What need is there for investigation? I believe a cause has already been established. There are witnesses.
And that would be?
Each nation has its own specific ways of dealing with things. Like Uriah is a nature-based nation, while Moradin is a military-based nation, Indal is a very holy nation, and Tantal is a very isolated nation. Each nation is very different from each other, and that's what makes this world feel so unique and different and special. I am not a big fan of foreshadowing at all. I feel like it ruins the story by showing us things that we're not supposed to be seeing too early, and it also ruins too many plot twists. But the Xenoblade Chronicles franchise executes foreshadowing so well that half of the times, I don't even know that it is foreshadowing. That's at least one of the reasons why I love these stories so much, because they can say things, and you won't even think that it's important, but in reality, it's extremely important. The whole foreshadowing thing with Mithra and Amalthus in the middle of the game definitely set up Amalthus being the main antagonist of the story for the ending, but I did not see that coming at all. I did not think Amalthus would be the main antagonist. That's probably because I'm a little slow because they made it quite obvious, but still, that's one of the reasons why I love the story so much. It's either because I didn't pay attention, or because the foreshadowing in this game is absolutely outstanding. And it's probably the latter. Another reason why Xenoblade Chronicles 2's story is amazing is because all that it references. There are so many hidden references in this game, whether it's just referencing something else, randomly, or religious references. K Jewelers made a whole video about the religious references in this game, and it is absolutely outstanding, so I really suggest that you watch it. An example of a brilliant reference is actually Amalthus' name. He was inspired by Thomas Malthus, and Thomas Malthus created the Malthusian theory, which is... Oh. Well, that makes a lot of sense now. Moving back to the gameplay, there are so many things to do in this game. Whether it's visiting every location, buying everything from all the shops, doing all the side quests, getting all the heart-to-hearts, there is so much to do. Even grinding for blades is fun, especially with the gacha mechanic. And now I know what you might be thinking. Gacha mechanics are absolutely horrible. That's true, if you have to pay money. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 does gacha mechanics as where you can only do things by getting stuff from the game. You're not allowed to pay at all. There's not even an option to pay. So, grinding for common, rare, and legendary core crystals to spawn blades is actually really fun. Trying to get Cosmos, which is the rarest blade in the game, is really, it's a fun grind, you know? It might seem frustrating when you don't get her from a legendary core crystal, but it's still a fun way to go grind for something. Doing all the side quests are also very fun, especially the blade-specific side quests. Those with the cutscenes are really good. They're really, really good. See how the main party interacts with different blades? Especially Boreas's. His side quest is something special. Here's a scene from it.
Contenders ready!
Okay! Let's do it!
Now begin Mushroom Speedy Eating Contest! Go! Tora off to flying start! But opponent Boreas not move muscle! Is Boreas mesmerized by pretty food? What's going on here?
Master Pawn is winning. Poppy will refill as much as Master Pawn wants.
Tora already on plate 4! But Boreas not make one bite! What he waiting for? Maybe Boreas already give up? Man, Boreas move! About time too! This incredible! Ladies and gentlemen, Boreas demolish food with never seen before chompy chomp!
faster, Master Pawn. Eat, eat. Here is next plate.
Finish!
Another weirdly hilarious side quest is Korra's. Here's a cutscene from hers.
It's hard to even take proper care of your skin in a place like this. Mithra, you know this. I've noticed you've been shrinking into the background lately, like a little wallflower.
Wallflower? You mean no one notices me?
That came out wrong. All I mean is, you could use a little boost in the girl power department. Rex, you're a guy. Don't tell me you haven't noticed that Mithra is lacking a little something.
What? Answer carefully, Rex.
Huh? I mean... how can I,
Rex looks like he's gonna blub. Wouldn't want to be you.
Nia, maybe we should step in to prevent an escalation.
Huh? I'll pass. Getting in between those two right now would be suicide. Let Charlotte handle it.
Nah. Putting the Zekinator in the mix would only exacerbate the situation, eh?
Now we get some self-awareness.
Then we'll just observe. It's just a bit of banter. How bad can it get?
Come on, Mithra. Isn't it time you got a new outfit? Admit it, when was that moth-eaten thing last in fashion? 500 years ago, that's when...
Moth-eaten? Well, at least I've got some clothes on. What you're wearing wouldn't cover the head of a goose.
That's rich coming from you.
That look in your face, you know I'm right. You want to see who's got girl power? It's on! Bring it!
Yeah? You bring it. Let's say the loser has to, do a little dance for everyone. Well, think you can handle it?
I can handle it. But Korra, this is practically a done deal. You really want to go there?
You bet. It's totally a done deal. I'm looking forward to kicking your butt.
Hey, guys. Do you really think this is a good idea? You're getting a bit aggressive.
Shut up, Rex.
Got it.
Speaking of side content, heart-to-hearts are absolutely amazing. Seeing the main party interact with each other that isn't story-related is honestly really cool to watch, and I love to see the team chemistry like that. Here are some examples of the best heart-to-heart moments.
Hey, Morag, how about next time you put on a skirt and some heels?
How about you die in a fire, Zeke?
Tora will now introduce assistant to help teach essence of maidiness.
How may I be of service, Mr. Rex, sir?
Poppy? What is this, Tora? Some kind of malfunction?
Do not worry. This just Rex-focused blushy-crushy maximization mode. Have a good day salvaging, Mr. Rex, sir.
It looked me in the eye. Is this thing still alive? Can it be? Then I must end it before it strikes. It's opening its foul maw. Lady Morag, the enemy means to eat us. Quickly, the finishing blow. Very well. Hellfire! But you know I'm a woman, right, Pandoria? I must admit, I didn't take you for... well...
Oh, Morag, you're so funny.
Huh?
That's not it at all. I wasn't confessing my love or anything. I just wanted to ask you about my femininity.
Really? You came to ask me about femininity?
You dress like a dude, but you're so pretty. You must know a thing or two. Your hair, your skin, your nails. Always so on point.
You have better eyes than I gave you credit for.
I have a very mixed opinion about Xenoblade Chronicles 2's English voice acting. On some hands it's really good, on some hands it can be really cringy. In the beginning, I feel like everyone's voice actor, except Malice of course, is really off. They get much better near the end, especially Rex's and Nia's. In the beginning though, Rex's screams, I'm sure you've seen one of these memes before, but oh boy, they are so funny. These jokes about Rex's voice actor, because in the beginning he is really cringy. I hate to say it, but he is. So these jokes are really funny. Here's an example of one. Here are examples of great voice acting moments though. And I'd say the two best voice actors in this game are Pyra and Mithra's and Malice's.
Stop! Stop stealing my memories! No! Rex!
All right then. If that's what you want, I'll do it for you! Another guest at the party? Bring it on! I've had it with you. Pyra! Mithra! I don't give a rat's ass what you think, brat! Why don't you just let it go? Who do you think you're doing this for? And how many people died because of it? You'd forgive him just like that?
Holy shit, I've been waiting to talk about this. But this goddamn soundtrack. Oh my, the Xenoblade 2 soundtrack is so goddamn good. It is such, I mean, even if you don't like this franchise or these games, you cannot tell me that the soundtrack is not godly. This soundtrack is definitely the best soundtrack I've ever heard in a video game. And here are 27 examples of all my favorites. And we're gonna start with the banger known as More Ardain Roaming the Waste, baby. I know that was a lot of music to go through, but you could not tell me that at least one of those pieces was not banging. So, with all that done, let's move on to the next category. In case you couldn't tell, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is directly connected to Xenoblade Chronicles 1. I know, big surprise. But it's not like a situation like Final Fantasy where every game is a separate game. They're not connected at all. These two games are connected, and to me that's just a brilliant way to expand the story even further. It goes without saying, but the destruction of Earth was a very unfortunate event due to Klaus's choices, but it created both Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade 2's story, which I have a theory about how those two, how they really got separated, about how Klaus got separated, but that's a video for another time. Meeting Klaus, aka the creator of the world that everyone calls him the architect, was a really cool experience in the last chapter of the game, and it was especially great that they put it right before the final boss, because you at least knew what happened before finishing the full story. Basically, the way that Xenoblade 2 and Xenoblade 1 are connected is that they're taking place in the exact same time, but in different universes, and we know that due to this one line.
Today, we use our power to fell a god, and then seize our destiny!
This line alone made every Xenoblade Chronicles 1 fan wet their pants, and I almost did too. Hearing this was still unbelievable. In fact, it is the exact same line that Shulk said when defeating the final boss of Xenoblade Chronicles 1. I'll quickly play the comparison.
That's simple. Today, we use our power to fell a god, and then seize our destiny!
I know I've mentioned this plenty of times before, but my main reason for loving this game is not because of the gameplay, or the battle system, or the team interaction. While all those definitely are also fantastic, I love this game firstly for the story alone. The story in this game is so great. I don't even know how else to put it. It is just perfect. It's a masterpiece. There's really nothing else I can say. It starts with a calm yet strong beginning in Chapter 1, transitioning to a sort of slow but relaxing feel in Chapter 2, to an intensifying and dramatic ending in Chapter 3, to another calm / progressing feeling in Chapter 4, to once again another intensifying feeling in Chapter 5, an especially intensifying and dramatic ending in Chapter 6. My favorite chapter being Chapter 7, which that chapter is just unbelievable. All the stuff you go through, it's very dramatic but very emotional as well, especially with the backstory of Zeke and Nia. And in Chapter 8, it's very, you want to wonder what's going on. You really are wondering what's going on, especially as you're exploring Moritha. Chapter 9, things start to get together. All the story starts to build up in Chapter 9 and the middle of Chapter 8. And in Chapter 10, you realize how this all started in the first place, and fully finish the game with a very satisfying ending. I feel like there's only one proper way to end this video, so without further ado, here is the credits scene of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and have yourselves a good rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, and night. bonus content, baby. Yeah, I know I said that this video would be out on March 26th, but just look at the file size, guys. This video took me so long to make, but in the end, I think it was so worth it. This is definitely my favorite video that I've made so far. So I really would appreciate it if you all could give it the love it deserves. Share it with the people you know. Make sure to like. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to turn on notifications. Okay, you don't have to do all that, but still, I appreciate you all for watching this video, especially if you sat through the whole thing. Like, this is definitely my longest video. But with that all being said, peace out, guys.